If you are facing foreclosure or trying to get a home loan modification, you are about to get some help. The California legislature yesterday passed the Homeowner's Bill of Rights, and Governor Brown says he will sign it. Here to tell us more about it is real estate attorney Donald Wolfe with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So this is good news, but there's kind of a double-edged sword here. Let's get started with the good news. It was passed yesterday. Tell us what it does.
What it does is it adds protections that weren't typically there before. One of the biggest protections that they've added is something called dual tracking, or the ability for the banks to no longer dual track. And what that means is previously they were able to work on a loan modification or a short sale, but at the same time march you toward a foreclosure. So what we had happening was people that were thinking they were an inch or two away from getting their loan modified, but in actuality they are an inch or two away from getting their home foreclosed on.
Okay. Federal law, there's a lot of this already in federal law. It's just that people aren't aware of some of it.
Yes, we recently had a settlement involving 49 states and 5 major lenders. The settlement, we see a lot of that type of language coming into this law. So it is in effect on a larger scale. Now we're trying to get it local, statewide.
Okay, so, but as we were talking before, this also in a way helps the banks figure out exactly how they can go ahead with this procedure.
Absolutely. The bad thing about it, the good thing and the bad thing, is now we've added a number of boxes for the bank to check. Once they check those boxes, they're clear to move forward with the foreclosure. Where in the past there was some caution and some ambiguity associated with what they could do and when they could do it. But with the new law, again, once they check those boxes, I believe that they're going to proceed with a foreclosure quicker than they ever have in the past.
Tell us some of the, you've been doing this now for years, tell us some of the horror stories that you see with these folks that they're just not aware, and then at the last minute, boom, their house is gone.
Well, what'll happen is they'll be working with the bank, and some well-meaning representative from the bank will tell them, truthfully, so long as you're in a modification process, or so long as you're in an active review, as they call it, we won't foreclose on you. So that leaves the homeowner with really a false sense of security, because what will happen is, let's say that there's a sale date scheduled for the 10th, and the bank is correct. They're not going to foreclose on you so long as you're in an active review. But come the 8th, you get declined. You're never notified that you've been declined. You try to follow up on the 12th, only to find out that your home was foreclosed 2 days prior.
I also asked you before, I said, do you need an attorney to do this? And you hesitate, you said, I don't want to be self-serving here, but it's tough to do on your own. You do need somebody to represent you, and you got to be careful.
You got to be careful, and that's the thing. This is a nice law that's coming out right now. It's going to generate a lot of publicity, but what it's also going to do is generate a lot of different companies and people that are going to look to get their hand in your back pocket, not the good ones. And so what I anticipate is we're going to see a wave now of foreclosure scams, where people will be taking this piece of legislation and using that as their marketing piece. They're going to be telling people that they're going to be able to get them this and that and everything else, and it'll just likely sound too good to be true. And then, like life, most things, if it does sound too good to be true, probably is.
Find a good attorney.
Find a good attorney to help you work through it.
All right, Donald Wolfe, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.